Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nichalatatvam, nichalatatve jivanmuktihi, punarapi jananam, punarapi marana, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे.
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. So in this 13th chapter, we will begin with the Bhashya Shloka, that is in the beginning. Narayana Parovyakta Dandam Avyakta Sambhavam Andasyantastu me Lokaha Saptadvipacha me dini. In the 13th chapter, the first shloka is Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramittavidiyate Etadyo Vetti Tam Prahu Kshetrajna iti Tadvidaha. So here, in the second shloka after that, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata Kshetrajnayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. So in this shloka, the non-difference between Brahman, that is the consciousness principle in each and every body, and which consciousness principle is the one which is the subject of the object that is called the body-mind complex, and by extension, the whole of the creation. So this consciousness in each and every body that is aware of the body-mind complex and aware of the entire creation, directly or indirectly, that consciousness is non-different from Brahman. So when this was stated, the questions that arise are, okay, if consciousness principle is the one which is non-different from Brahman, we see this entity who is a sentient entity, who is the one who is admitted by everybody and admitted by himself also to be a samsari. So if Brahman is non-different from this consciousness in the body, Brahman will have to be admitted to be samsari. Such questions have arisen and they are being addressed. The main reason is that such a thing does not happen. That is, Brahman cannot be said to be samsari because samsara dharma itself is a superimposition in the Atman. So Atman is ever free, pure consciousness. It does not have any connection with the body-mind complex. And all the samsara dharmas are found to be in the body-mind complex only. And as a result of that, the Atman is totally aloof, untouched by the properties of the body-mind complex. So that untouched consciousness alone is stated to be non-different from Brahman. So Brahman cannot be said to be tainted by the samsaritva, which is aropita. So now the discussion proceeds. Evam cha sati kshetreshvapi sarvakshetreshvapi sataha bhagavataha kshetrajnasya ishwarasya samsaritva gandhamatramapi na ashankyam. So when such is the case, in each and every body, the consciousness which is non-different from Brahman, and here, Bhagavataha Ishwarasya, Kshetrajnasya Ishwarasya. So three epithets are being stated, Bhagavan, Kshetrajna and Ishvara. So here, Bhagavan will give us a feeling that it is Saguna Brahman. And Kshetrajna, of course, it is the Jiva, which is pure consciousness. And Ishvara. Ishvara also, the word Ishvara also can give us the feeling that it is Saguna Brahman. But here, all these three words actually convey a pure consciousness alone and not Bhagavan, who is said to have the 6 qualities of rulership and things like that. So, Sataha Bhagavataha Kshetragnasya Ishwarasya. Yeah. So, this pure consciousness, which is the all-pervading consciousness, cannot be said to be tainted by the properties of samsara. Then, nahi vachidapi loke avidya adhyastena dharmena kasyachite upakaraha apakaro va drishtaha. And the further reinforcement of the argument is that since the samsara dharma is admitted to be only a superimposition, the case of a superimposed object and all the properties of the superimposed object, they do not have any effect or impact on the substratum on which the superimposition has happened. The glaring example is the rope snake. So the rope is there as the substratum, and snake is the one which has been superimposed on that rope. And the properties of the snake, like being poisonous, being fearful, or being a living being and all that, these things are all not there in the rope. So just because a person superimposes a snake on that, the properties of that superimposed snake cannot be expected to be belonging to the rope, which alone is there really. So the same analogy applies here also. Nahi kvachidapi loke avidyadhyastena dharmena. Vidyadhyasta is the superimposition that has happened because of ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance about the object that is there as the substratum. That is a rope here. So only because he doesn't know that there is a rope here, that is, or he doesn't know that the object there in front of him is a rope, he is deluded and he concludes that it is a snake. So it is not a case of doubt. It is not a case of samshaya. And nor is it a case of non-cognition also. We saw these concepts in the last class. Non-cognition, wrong cognition, and doubtful cognition. So non-cognition is the one which gives rise to these two, either of these two effects, like wrong cognition and doubtful cognition. So the non-cognition, that is not knowing what the object is there in front of him, in truth or in perfect way, he either gets a doubt about it or concludes that it is a different object altogether. So here, avidyadhyastena dharmena kasyachite upakaraha apakaro drishtaha. So there is neither any benefit nor any problem with the because of the superimposition with reference to the object that is in this, that is a substratum. That's what is being stated in the Adhyasa Bhashya also. Nahi adhyastena dharmena dharma adhyastasya gunena doshena va anumatrena api na sambhadyate. So the guna or dosha, whatever it could be, of the superimposed object will not have any impact on the object that is there as the substratum. So in the case of the snake, a person can say that the dosha which is there in the snake, like being poisonous, will not have any impact on the rope. Or if it is the case of this shell silver, the value given to the silver is not going to have any effect on the shell that is there. So these are the examples for guna and dosha. Now going further, yet uktam na samaha drishtantaha iti tad asate. So there was one objection with regard to the analogy given for superimposition. So there, the objector had said, the Siddhanti had given the analogy of Sthanu Purusha. Sthanu is a pillar or a stub. And the person gets a wrong cognition there that it is a human, it is a person. So there is actually a stub or a pillar which is definitely insentient, but from a distance a person sees that, and if it is a foggy day and all that, if there's not sufficient light there, from a distance a person can get a feeling that it is a person standing there, a man standing there. So he concludes that it is a man, and that gives rise to fear and things like that. It need not be fear alone, it can be some positive effect also, and he might get some hope that there is a person there and he might help me. But then when he goes near, he will be disappointed that seeing that there's no person at all there. So both either hope or fear, anything can be generated, but both these things are not the right thing that is happening there. So that example was given to show that the Atman is the one which is in the form of the Sthanu, and the Purusha is the one which is the superimposed. So the Atman is the one which is the asamsari, and the Purusha here in the analogy is to be equated to the samsara dharma and samsari and all that in the Atman. So this exact analogy was given. So the objection now is raised against the analogy, saying that, see, in the analogy, both the pillar or the stub and the human, they are all outside the Atman. They are not the Atman. But then you are giving the one that is being exemplified here is the Atman and the samsara dharma, which is superimposed on that. How is this fair? How is it not wrong also? So that objection was raised, and for that the reply being given is vidyadhyasta matram avidyadhyasa matram hi drishtanta dashtantikayoho sadharmyam vibhakshitam. So what has been intended or implied by the analogy is just that there is a superimposition and there is a substrata. This alone is the feature of an error, any error. That is what is being shown as analogous to the situation here. So you should not extend beyond that. So here, just avidyadhyasa matram hi drishtanta dashtantikayoho sadharmyam. So what is the common feature here? There is avidya regarding the pillar there, and as a result of that, the superimposition of a human or a person is happening there. And in this case also, in the case on hand also, because of the avidya pertaining to the true nature of the self, that is the Atman, the wrong cognition or the superimposition that it is a samsari is the superimposition here. So this Drishtanta Dashtantika one-to-one correspondence has been very clearly stated here. So this is what is intended also, that both the superimposed and the substratum are outside and outside the subject. That cannot be taken to be a fault here. So this feature does not contradict in the analogy, so there is no problem with that analogy. So, yatu jnatari vyabhichariti iti manyase tasyapi anekantikatvam darshitam jaradibihi. So, if you are going to say that, no, in the case of the jnata, that is the knower, that is a subject, this analogy does not fit in. That is the feature of the analogy, that there is a imposition here that does not fit in here. That also has been settled by us by showing that the jara, mrityu, etc., for example, which are of the body, which is the knower, which is the known, or which is the object, these are all superimposed on the Atman, which is the subject. So this Jnata is the Atman, and everybody knows that he is the Atman, he is the Jnata. And the Jnata itself is being seen as the one who is subject to old age, disease and things like that. So this Jara, Mrityu, etc. are belonging to the body, Stula Shariram, which is being taken to be the properties of the person. So we can even say here that there is a Jiva here. We don't have to go up to the Atman also. There is a Jiva here who is predominantly shown to be something which is having a body-mind component, which is the mind aspect, that is Vijnanatma. In the Brahma Sutra and in other places also, to denote the Jiva, the word Vijnanatma is used. So Vijnanatma is the predominant, because the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the predominant one in the Jiva. The Jiva is being given the name of Vijnanatma. So if you take the Vijnanamaya Kosha, which can be taken to be the Antakaranam in total. So the Antakaranam is the one which is the jiva here. The properties of the Stula Shariram, they are superimposed on the Vijnanatma or the jiva. So the jiva is the one who is transmigrating from one body to another, but then the body, the old age, etc., belonging to the body, the person thinks that they are for him only. So this viveka is possible to be given in the, that is why in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, also in the Adhyasa Bhashya, in the beginning, Bhagavad Pada mentions that the case of a person who is committed to following the injunctions of the Veda, the Karma Kanda. So he is interested in Swarga and all that. So he considers himself to be a candidate for the means, candidate for implementing or executing the means that are stated in the Veda for attaining Swarga. So the candidacy first arises because that he considers himself to be a Brahmana, or even a Kshatriya can do these yagas and all that. So he thinks that he is so and so, and he is a Grihastha and all that. So these are all, he takes for granted all these things are there for him, and he is qualified to perform this yaga. And by this yaga, he knows very well that the yaga will be performed here with this body, but then the fruit of that yaga, which is Swarga, will have to be experienced in another body, that is after his death only. So he knows very well that this body is not the jiva. So the jiva body is only an instrument for the jiva to perform these things, and the experiencing of the fruit of the yaga will have to be done through another body, which is also an instrument. So he knows that he is different from the body, but then at the same time he doesn't know that he is the Atman who is different from the body, the mind aspect also. So that portion he doesn't know. So this aspect has been shown by the Bhashyakara in the Adhyasa Bhashya itself. So here also, even though that Adhyasa is not there with reference to the body, the Adhyasa is there with reference to the Jiva aspect. So the Jiva, the body-mind complex is the one, the body is the one which has the properties of old age, disease and death and all that. But then the Jiva does not have all this. So even a person who is committed to performing the injunctions of the Veda, he knows this much. So this is what is implied here in this passage of the Bhagavad Pada. Yattu jnatari vyavichariti iti manyase tasyapi anekantikattvam darshitam jaradivihi. So for this, in the gloss, there is sub-commentary, the Swami Anandagiri Acharya, he shows that Gneyasaiva Gneyantare Adhyasa Nimittasya Niyamasya iti yavate. So Gneya is the Jiva. So the Jiva is the Gneya, and Gneyantara is the body-mind, the stool Shariram, and the Adhyasa is possible between these two, that is the Jiva and the body. So that, or in effect, what we can say is the mind and the body. So this kind of Adhyasa is possible because the mind is an object to you and the body is also an object to you. So object A is taken to be the substratum where the object, the properties of the object B are superimposed. So both object A and object B are Vishaya for the subject. So this much is the what is conveyed by the Bhashyakara in this passage. Then going further, avidyavattvate kshetrajnasaritvam iti chet na avidyayaha tamasatvat. So now the core teaching of this particular Bhashya, that is the second chapter Bhashya, second sloka Bhashya, is what is now initiated. So it is now starting from now. But here, avidyavattvate kshetrajnasya samsari chet. So before before in the foregoing, the concept of avidya was admitted. But now here, the question of what is the locus of the avidya? Who is the one who is affected by avidya? That is what is being, that discussion is starting here. Avidyavattvate kshetrajnasya samsaritvam iti chet. So these wordings are also so very important here and very interesting. Avidyavatvam, that is, avidyavatvam means avidyavan, that is dhanavan. When we say a person is dhanavan, he is having dhana. Dhanam is wealth. So when we say that there's a wealthy person here, we call him a wealthy person only because he has got wealth and he has got has the abhimanam also that he is wealthy. So here, in the same way, avidyavan is the person who knows himself or who considers himself to be endowed with avidya. So that is what is stated here. Avidya-rutvat kshetragnasya samsaritvam. So the kshetragna, who you have said is non-different from Brahman, that is all-pervading Brahman, that kshetragna is endowed with avidya, and because of that only he is experiencing samsaritva. So that is samsara. So that is the claim made by the person who is sitting as an opponent to the Siddhantin Vedantin. So the opponent says that the kshetragna, whom you have said is non-different from Brahman, that kshetragna is endowed with avidya, he is affected by this avidya, so that is the one, he is the one who is having this avidya, and because of that only this samsaritvam is there. If such a position is taken, the Siddhantin or the Vedantin says, no, such is not the case. Avidyayaha tamasatva. This is a concise reply which will be elaborated. So he says, such is not the case because avidya is of the nature of tamas. Tamas is something which envelops or which not reveal the true situation there. So it is common with the darkness also we encounter. So when there is darkness, you won't know what things are there. So it doesn't reveal the things which are there. So the darkness is cover. It envelops the things there which are there, and preventing you from knowing what things are there exactly. So in the same way, avidya is of the nature of tamas. What it does, it envelops the true Atman there and prevents the subject there or the jiva from knowing his true nature as Atman. So that's what is conveyed through these two words, avidyayaha tamasatvat. Then he further explains what is this tamas and what it does. Tamaso hi pratyayaha avarnatmakatvat avidya viparita grahakaha samshayopasthapako va agrahanaatmako va viveka prakasha bhave tadabhavat tamasecha avarnatmake timiradi doshe sati agrahanadehe avidyatrayasya upalabdhehe. So this is a very chill passage where Bhagavad gives the cause and shows what effects this avidya can give. So avidya is the cause here and how it gives rise to various other problems. And the other problems are stated to be three in nature, which are very nicely defined also. So tamaso hi pratyayaha avarnatmakatvat avidya. So pratyaya is a very crucial word here. So pratyaya is something which is a mental perception. It is not an ocular or a sensual perception, sensory perception. It is mental. That is any thought. Any thought can be said to be a pratyaya. So here, this avidya is itself stated to be a property of the antakarna. So this is also very nice in the sense Bhagavad is very clearly stating here that avidya is something which exists or which is located in the antakarnam only and not in the atman. So that is what is to be noted here. So tamaso hi pratyayaha avarnatmakatvat. It is since it is of the nature of enveloping. Avarnam is enveloping, covering. So its main function or its main nature, its core nature is to cover something. Avarnatmakatvat avidya. So avidya is the one which is of the nature of tamas. Tamas is the darkness, and here it is the darkness pertaining to the Atman, and it is of the nature of enveloping, avarnatmakatvat. After enveloping, what it does? It does three things. It gives rise to three possibilities. One is viparita grahaka. That is what we termed before as wrong cognition. So when there is avidya or when there is enveloping, it can result in wrong cognition. So when the rope is there, but then we do not know that it's a rope because of some defect there, because of perhaps maybe insufficient light or no clarity in the eyesight, insufficient eyesight or defective eyesight or some confusion in the mind. All these three things can be said to be the cause for the avarana. So avaranaatmakatvat avidya. So as a result, he takes the rope to be a snare. Or in the other example, there is a pillar there, but he takes that pillar to be a person. And in the case of next one is samshayopasthapakaha. So this is the case of doubt. So stanurva purushova. This is a samshaya. That is, there is a pillar there, but he is not sure whether it is Stanu or Purusha. So he is in a kind of dilly-dallying there, in the sense that Doraemanam is there. He is not very, he is not clear, very sure that it is either Purusha only or it is Stanu only. So the Stanurva Purushova, that is Samshaya, and Agrahanatmakova. Agrahanam is not knowing what is there in front because of pitch darkness or total darkness. So if there is too much of darkness or thick darkness, the presence of object also will not be known. If there is insufficient light, then there is a possibility of knowing that there is some object there. But the clear knowledge of what that object is not, that is not possible because of insufficient light. So this is the situation here. So avidya can take the form of either wrong cognition or doubtful cognition or non-cognition. Agranaatmakova viveka prakasha bhave tadabhavat. So he now gives the anvaya vyatireka. So here he says, if avidya is there, that is the tamasa pratyaya, that basic mula avidya is there, it can give rise to these three things. And if it is not there, that is, if that avidya was not there, were not to be there, viveka prakasha bhave, that is when there is the light of discrimination, in that case, these three things will not happen at all. That is, there won't be wrong cognition, there won't be doubtful cognition, and there won't be wrong non-cognition also. So these three effects will not be there if there is the light of discrimination. So that is what is stated here. Viveka prakasha bhave tadabhavat. So the anvaya vyatireka can be stated by us like this. Avidya sattve etesham trayanam sadbhavaha. Avidya abhave etesham abhavaha. So this is the anvaya vyatireka here. Then tamasecha avaranatmake timiradi doshe sati agrahanadehe avidyatrayasya upalabdehe. So he is himself saying that tamasecha avaranatmake timiradi doshe. So if that avaranatmaka is the one which is enveloping, timiradi dosha. Timira is one dosha. Timira is said to be a defect of the eye. So timiradi doshe adipadena, you can take so many other things like sufficient light or confusion in the mind, so that also can prevent proper cognition. So all these things are there. Timiradi doshe sati. If these defects are there, then the avidyatrayasya upalabdehe. So the three effects of avidya will be there when the causal ignorance, which is of the nature of covering or enveloping, is present. So when when there is the opposite light of discrimination, then these three will not be there. So when darkness is there, these problems are there. When there is light, these effects are not there. So this is the simple anvaya vyatireka, which is Bhagavad Gita himself is showing here. Then the further question, atra aha evam tarhi jnata dharmaha avidya. So if such is the case, we have nicely explained that this is the cause you have explained, and you have explained the effects also. Now what I'm going to say is that this avidya is a property of the jnata, that is the knower, that is the you can call him a jiva, you can call him pramatru. These are all terms used in the shastram. So pramatru is the one who is the jiva, who has abhimana in his body mind complex that I am this, and I am a knower, and I have at my disposal these instruments for knowing, like mind, the organs and all that. So here this very interesting discussion starts now. Evam tarhi jnatra dharmaha avidya. So jnata is the subject here, which is the knower, who is the Paramatma. Then avidya is his dharma. Dharma is the property of the jnata, or it's an attribute of the jnata. So here that will be refuted, and we can take this up in the next session. Om Shastram Sharirami Mamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santume Janma Janmani Yavine Sampanne Sampannam Vetaragam Vivek Vande Vedanta Tattvajnam Vidushekara Bharati. Om Tatsate.